Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we are taking a look at every single banned card currently within the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG, if I'm not mistaken. And we are going to go through every single one of them and determine whether or not they could come back to 3, 1, or should they remain banned? Most of these will remain banned, let's be honest with ourselves. But I do kind of want to take this as a discussion on whether or not a card could come back, or what have you. Now, these are only the banned cards. I'm not talking about any of the limited or semi-limited or anything of that nature. And I'm not talking about anything that is currently unbanned that should be banned. Because, quite frankly, here's my opinion on the ban list. It should be used way more to actually remove a lot of cards from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card pool. Because there's a lot of cards that are just not fun. They're just like not fun cards. And we play a card game. It's a trading card game. So like a game should be fun, right? So just a bunch of these cards that just aren't very fun to play against or to play generally should probably be removed. So with that being said, let's hop into this. Starting off with Artifact Scythe. We all love Artifact Scythe, right? Yeah, this is obviously a ban. Very silly card. I'm also just going to put the barrier statue up here. These are two very, very silly cards. I believe the other barrier statues are also on here, and quite frankly, these were recently hit, but every single one of the barrier statues should realistically be banned. Torrent, Stormwinds. What's the fire one? I have no idea. Abyss, Dark Light, Earth, Water, Wind, Divine. Imagine if there was a Divine one. That'd be crazy. Anyway, all of the barrier statues, every single one of them, and Patrocephalo, and Jowgin, and pretty much anything that says, like, you can't special summon a guy should just be banned. Like, it's modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's just get it out of that way. Let's just get them out of here. Block Dragon, here's the thing. I am going to base this, again, off of fun, not balance. Because, genuinely, a lot of these cards could come off of the ban list and change nothing in terms of balance. However, there is some issues when it comes to fun. So I'm going to take it mostly from an aspect of like fun. Would it be a fun card to come back? And quite frankly, Block Dragon, no. Block Dragon has only ever done heinous things. It's never been part of something that has done a fair or interesting gameplay loop, right? That's not entirely true. I technically did use it in a Megalith build prior to the new support of Megalith. That was using like Gale Dogra and some other really jank cards. It was a really cool list. That being said, that was ages ago. And quite frankly, at this point, it was also still using the Adamantipator stuff to do Baron shenanigans, so maybe it wasn't cool. Gofu, no. Cyberstein, no. Dandelion, no. Dandelion, no. Eclipse Wyvern could absolutely totally be unlimited and nothing would happen. Here's the thing. Currently, it's at 3, I believe, in the OCG. 2 or 3, one of those. And quite frankly, let me switch these. Not those ones, sorry. And quite frankly, it hasn't done anything. It's done literally nothing. The thing is, it's just too slow. It doesn't really do anything in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it requires you to banish it. Sorry, it requires you to put it into the grave and then banish it to get the card back. And with so many ways to just easily access a card just by, like, activating a spell or even a monster, it's not exactly useful. So there's that. The only thing that, like, could be frustrating about it from a like, fun aspect is, like, it gets Chaos Levy in here, which then could potentially rip a card out of your hand. But even with that, it requires such specific setup that I feel like I wouldn't necessarily say that it's unfun. So, I don't know. I think it's fine. It would be cool to add to, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! In general for a combo, right? Like, as a combo player, this would be a cool card to add just because it's interesting. There's that. The Roach, obviously not. Mind Master. Here's the thing. Mind Master probably could be unlimited, and I don't think it would change all that much. Except for the fact that I'm lying to you, because I forgot that you can still FTK with this. Because there's still a ton of FTK enablers within this game. Brother, I just got FTK'd in Dice Rally in Master Duel today by Dark Strike Fighter, post-errata. I don't know, you could do whatever the heck you want in this game. Anyway, speaking of, yeah, this card doesn't do anything outside of FTK. Amaryllis, right? That's what it's called. So yeah, no, ban it. Toad, Ronin Toad could be unlimited. I don't think this does anything. The idea is that it cuts you off of Toad, Totally Awesome specifically, and so being able to more easily access Totally Awesome might. I don't know what that does. I genuinely don't know, because the thing is, all of the top decks aren't like. Is this gonna make Sprite good? No. Is this gonna make Paleo good? No. Like, there's not a deck that's going to make use of this in any real capacity. It's not like you're going to randomly throw in Swap Frog into your deck so that you can use Swap Frog to summon Toad. I don't know, maybe you would, but you probably wouldn't. I can't think of a deck that would really make splashes with Ronin Toad coming back. And quite frankly, Ronin Toad is not that interesting of a card. Like, it's a fine. It's like a net neutral in terms of gameplay, at least in my eyes. Especially as well, I will say, we also have what's this bucket? The Toad Enabler banned as well. Bahamut Shark. Bahamut Shark is also banned. So I don't know. Obviously, you could just ban Toad, right? But even without the Toad ban, I think Ronin Toad's fine. Master Plan could totally come back to 3 and would do nothing. Currently, we are witnessing an age where other decks like Yummy or DDD are doing similar things to what Spiral was doing in the past with like Trigate Wizard and what have you. And with the ban of Apo as well, I think that Spiral's not doing anything. Yeah, Spiral could absolutely have Master Plan back and it would change nothing. Anyway. Cool. Tyrant Neptune. Here's the thing. This card could totally come back to 3 and would do absolutely nothing because we banned... No, oh wait, I forgot. This is the TCG. We didn't ban Instant Fusion. Never mind. I forgot. Instant Fusion is banned. Or is limited. You can still play that card for some reason. Anyway. Victory Dragon is only here because of Judge Calls. Fiber Jar is... What if you played Yu-Gi-Oh! 2? Electric Boogaloo. Fishborg could be unlimited and would do nothing. It'd help Ice Barrier, I guess. Maybe. Or like Goaty. Or I don't know. Level Eater, no, not a chance. Magical Scientist, no, not a chance. Gin Buster, here's the thing. This card could come back. I don't think there's a deck that could technically make use of this card. But it's still a Floodgate. And not like an interesting Floodgate. It's just kind of like a no. You don't get to do the thing. And not something that you necessarily have to play around. Like, I don't know, Droll or one of the Mulcharmies or something like that. So, it's just kind of boring. Grinder Golem. No, too many tokens. Okay. Pendulum could absolutely have this guy back. He is technically an FTK enabler. Starving Venom something or other. He is technically an FTK enabler, and with multiple copies of him, he technically does have the capacity to FTK. However, I don't care, because we also did ban Verte, and you're not getting back Verte. That's just not happening. So... There you go. He's at 3, I believe, in Master Duel as well, with 3 Electromite, and he ain't doing nothing. Because they refuse to print actual good Pendulum cards. Where's Neacraft? Neacraft wouldn't do anything with this anyway. Kit Kalos could go back to... go back to 1, and it probably wouldn't do anything. If I'm not mistaken, all of the names are limited currently, alongside limitations... and bans to a lot of other key components to this archetype. So there's that. I also think at this point, without full power tier limit, most of the other decks are still way stronger. Like Vanquishable Canine is way stronger, though I guess that would be limited. Cool Tune would be stronger than a very heavily limited tier. What else is there? Draco Tail is stronger. I guess post-Banlist, it's hard to say. But even a lot of the newer stuff as well, like Elf Note, I think would be stronger. Doom Zed would be stronger. Stuff of that nature. This one, I think, is probably the most likely to be problematic. However, I think I'm okay with that, because Tyr is also one of the most fun decks to play, and it's one of the less frustrating decks to play against, especially without the Ishizu cards. I think the Ishizu cards were just so annoying to play against. It's like, oh cool, half of my deck is gone now because they hit both of their millers. And then also on top of that, if I had something in the grave, cool, shufflers, just shuffle it away. So I think without access to those, I guess they still have the shufflers, but those are less frustrating. So without access to those, I feel like Tyr is not nearly as bad. But again, this one I feel like could be a problem. Noradin is not allowed because for some reason we have refused to ban Instant Fusion instead. This is just an FTK enabler. Curious also could probably come back to 3 and would likely do nothing. Now, with that being said, this is technically a buff to Tier element because both Curious and Kit Kalos are pretty big buffs to Tier element. Technically speaking, because both Curious and Kit are enablers for the strategy. However, even with that being said, I still don't think that this deck, or more specifically Curious in general, is all that powerful. So, I don't know. I think it's fine. Again, this is one of those cards that's like, oh, it's at 3 in Master Duel, and it's doing nothing. So, does it deserve the ban? Elf. I think Elf could come back. Honestly, it could probably come back to 3, now I'm thinking about it. Because right now, Elf is not doing anything. What decks currently want to make use of Elf? Yummy recently used it in Master Duel. And Yummy is, you know, still a deck that exists within the TCG. But I don't really think that Yummy was a problem because of Elf. I guess you could argue it was, but especially without Herald, I really don't mind Elf, right? The target protection of Elf is frustrating, but not the worst. And there's a lot of cards that at this point function similarly to Elf in the sense that they are reborns for specific cards. Like a Q is an example of this. The only difference is that a Q can bring back more generic cards while also requiring you to go into a higher link monster and requiring a discard. So there's that. Elf is definitely the best of those. So I wouldn't be surprised if this one, I don't know. I can't think of this being like a problem because we've had it for so long in Master Duel and it's done nothing. Like, it shows up in decks from time to time because it's a good generically powerful staple, but it's not necessarily game determinative. Like, it's okay. It's kind of like a pivot option oftentimes, but it is also part of the end board. I don't know. It's hard to say for me. But I don't know. I like when it's in the meta as opposed to when it's not. I feel like when it's not in the meta, it's just less interesting. I don't know. Gumblar can rot in hell. Union Carrier, stop floodgating me. What did I just hit? I have no idea what just happened. What did I do? I have no idea what I just hit, but I broke it. Anyway, Chaos Hunter. No. Okay, here's the thing. Chaos Hunter is basically just Zombie Vampire, but better, and for some reason, actually, Zombie Vampire is arguably better. However, for some reason, we have yet to ban Zombie Vamp. Agripane can die. Electromite could go to 3 and would change nothing. Same thing with both of the Nightmares, which is crazy to think about because of how powerful they were on release, and the fact that this is currently one of the banned cards in Duel Links. Yeah, Nightmare Mermaid's banned. Link Cross, no. Our Link 2s are only getting better. Verte is not allowed. Meow Meow Mew could absolutely go back to 3. Samorph. Why is this card still banned? Brother, this card was banned because of Tri-Brigade. It's still banned. Anyway, here's Halqifibrax. No. Auroradon. Okay, technically, I do think Auroradon could come back, and I don't know if it would do anything, but it's also one of those cards that's only used in bullshit, right? Like, it's never really used in something fair or balanced, and it's not really a fun card when it shows up. It's always just like, oh, I'm gonna FTK you, or oh, I'm going to, I don't know, do X, Y, or Z that's really stupid and immediately wins the game. Without Baron nor Apo, Super Heavy Samurai could be unlimited, untouched, and no one would play it. So there you go. LB, no. Laval Chain. Here's the thing. This is going to sound crazy because of how powerful Laval Chain was when it was released, and how generically powerful the card is. This card could go to 1 and would do nothing. It might see play, but I don't think it would be played in many or if any decks. And it might be one of those cards that's similar to, like, Dugaris, where it's just like, oh, here's a card that just kind of helps. You know, maybe you draw some cards, maybe you reborn a guy, right? Similar in nature to that with Doug, but with Laval Chain. Now, here's the thing. Laval Chain doesn't have a once per turn, so you can't give it back. Or I should say, it doesn't have a hard once per turn. So you can't give more than 1 of this. Like, Laval Chain, you get 1. That's it. Any more, it breaks. You just can't do that. It's too powerful. However, I will say, looking at this now, if you bring back all of these cards for Tier Limit, it becomes very powerful. So you can either have Laval Chain and Curious, or you could have Kit, and I feel like Kit's going to go. But the point is that, technically speaking, Kit's not necessarily, like, that problematic. It's just that you probably couldn't release all of these cards with Kit Colors. I think that's where the issue starts to stem from. Regardless, going back to Laval Chain, I guess, this card is fine. It's fine. It either stacks the deck or Foolish. There's a lot of cards that just send cards to the graveyard at this point. There's a lot of cards that send cards for cost. Not even effective. They just send them for cost. They're just like, yeah, dump a guy for free. Yeah, go for it. Circular, I'm looking at you. So I really don't think that this is that big of a deal. Broad Bull could be unlimited and would do nothing. You know, it does search a normal summonable Beast Warrior. That's it. I don't know why this card's still banned. I literally could not tell you. Like, this is one of the most... Oh, yeah, you could unlimit this card of all time. Oh, what are you going to do? Search Fractal? Oh, no. You're going to make a rank 4 Zodiac to search Fractal? Or you going to play Tri-Brigade? Please. Please play Tri-Brigade. Anyway, Shockmaster. No. This is just a Floodgate. This is just a Floodgate. This is... Okay. The thing is, this card could also go to 3. And I know what you're saying. Whoa, what? That's crazy. Doesn't this card send 3 cards to the graveyard? And the answer to that is yes. However, they are specifically differently named Dragon-type monsters, and it requires you to go into a rank 7 prior to it to search out a rank-up spell to go into this guy, or something of that nature. It's not exactly a great card. It's fine, but it's not exceptional. It just kind of, like, does... I don't know. The reason it got banned was because of the Dragon Rulers, and how powerful the Dragon Rulers were with this card in particular. And the thing is, sure, dragons have gotten arguably better within, or since then, right? However, on top of that, while yes, the dragons you could send are better. The ability to make this card in particular has gotten worse. I guess you could potentially make it off of, like, Generator. Because if I'm not mistaken, isn't it a rank 9? I could be wrong. But the point is, I don't really think... I don't know. This one I would have to do testing on, but I'm fairly certain it doesn't actually do anything. Maybe it does. But, I don't know. Maybe I just like Dragon decks. This is a Floodgate. This is a Floodgate for hand traps. This is a Floodgate. Zenmaity cannot exist alongside Hunter. If you just ban Hunter with the hand loop, Zenmaity can exist at 3. Hunter currently still hand loops. A Rise Heart is a Floodgate. Galaxy Tomahawk is an FTK enabler and is almost exclusively used to do some bullshit combo. It's never used for something fair. Because as it turns out, summoning a whole bunch of tokens is pretty easy to abuse. MX Saber Invoker is at 3 in Master Duel and is doing nothing. That's not technically true, it is doing stuff. And that's, I think, what makes it interesting is that, oh, it's good for Argo Star. Oh, it's good for Warrior combo with Isold, which, by the way, is banned in the TCG, which we're not getting. You don't get that card back. But, like, it does some interesting things for a few decks here or there. But it's not, like, breakable. Oh, but now you could play, like, Terror Top or the Radiant Typhoons, and then go into Broad Bull and search out Fractal, and then... Yeah, or you could just make the new Link 2 monster that Tri-Brigade has. The point is that, like, a lot of the stuff that was previously broken because it would get into some of the top-tier archetypes, while it is technically still capable of doing that, those archetypes are just weaker now. Like, they're just not capable of keeping up right now. So it's like, yeah, sure, you could go into Tri-Brigade. Yeah, sure, you could go into Zodiac. What are you gonna do? Pop one of my guys? Oh, no. Anyway... Dimensional Fusion. Sorry, this isn't Dimension Fusion. This is... Yeah. No, this is Dimension Fusion, which must stay banned. This is the other one. And here's the thing. This card could go to 3. Here's why. I just recently played with this card, and this card is terrible. This card is a trap card that requires you to reborn your banished monsters and banishes them during the end phase. So, it's a trap card that you would want to use on your turn. Meaning, the earliest you could potentially use it effectively is turn 3. And it requires setup to make work. When Yu-Gi-Oh! Was slower, and you could do this, this was crazy. Quite frankly, it was pretty good. Because being able to reborn 2 guys, that's just powerful. You could OTK with that. You could even protect your own life points with something of that nature. That's a pretty good effect. In modern Yu-Gi-Oh!, because of the fact that this is a trap, I do not think that this card's actually any good. Those are my thoughts. Cold Wave, no. Delinquent Duo, just not fun. Painful Choice, one of the most busted cards of all time. I think it's actually the most busted card of all time, but it's up there with this card, Last Will. Expulsion, just for Floodgates. This is a Floodgate. Last Will, or Last Turn, not a good card. Red Reboot, horrible card design. Royal Oppression, no. That's a Floodgate for both players. What if neither of us played the game? 6 Cents can be totally unlimited. Name a deck that actually would make use of this. I want you to name a deck right now that would actually make use of this effect. And I hear you saying, oh, every deck. No. Remember, this is a trap card in a game where 90% of the game is played on turn 1. Not turn 2. The first turn. Hand traps, turn 0 cards like Izuna, Holly Sue, Phimena, etc. As well as the sheer quantity of boards that can be immediately built within an instant kind of invalidate the existence of this card. Now, here's the thing. Twofold. One, this card is bad if you do not hit the 1 in 3 chance to draw cards. Which, I mean, yeah, it's not terrible. And if you mill cards, what cards are you milling? You gonna mill some tiers? You gonna mill some paleos? What are you gonna mill that's gonna make sense of this? That's gonna make use of this? Oh, you're gonna mill some branded cards, I guess? I don't even think branded wants to mill cards. I think they'd rather just activate branded fusion. Or like search it or something. I don't know if they mill cards anymore. So I'm not necessarily saying that this isn't like future proof. Which quite frankly I do think it is at this point. Just because it is so luck dependent and the fact that it is a trap. But like, yeah, go for it. If I set a trap card and activate it in order to hopefully in 1 out of every 3 activations, I draw a whole bunch of cards, sure. I think that's fine. Do you know what's funny? You could ash this. You could... I was gonna say you could go spell this, but you can't. I don't think you can. But you could ash it. I think you purge it. Because, like, it adds cards. So, sure. Go for it. Anyway, so those are my thoughts. This is just making going first even better. Ultimate Offering. Okay, here's the thing. This card as well could absolutely go to 3. If you've noticed, every single one of these cards recently that we've talked about are traps. All of them are also traps that are very situational. Ultimate Offering does not have real good use. Now, I know what you're saying. Doesn't it have the ability to normal summon during the main phase? No, it has the ability to normal summon during your main phase or your opponent's battle phase. This card is way worse than a lot of people are likely to imagine. Yeah, you can have the ability to normal summon during my battle phase. I don't care. Because by that point, you've either already established that you are likely to win the game, or have already lost the game. Because the battle phase kind of doesn't matter anymore in Yu-Gi-Oh! It might, but not often, right? Also, what the hell are you normal summoning that's going to do anything in the battle phase? Oh, don't worry, I'll normal summon Albaz during the battle phase. I guess, yeah, sure. I guess you could do that. If you're playing this in branded, yeah, go for it. That'd be like the one thing that I could think of that would be an interesting use of this. And the thing is, all it is just bad super polymerization. It's just a worse version of super poly. You could just play super polymerization at that point. Do you see what I mean? Like, there's not a whole lot of use for this. Oh, what about Flunder? Flunder has a trap card that's better than this because guess what? It can activate during the main phase. Yeah, Ultimate Offerings, fine. Who cares? Yeah, get that extra normal summon on turn 3. Go for it, bud. I guess Clown Crew would care. Sure. Sure, go for it, Clown Crew. Yeah, you can have another random-ass brick in your deck. Sure. Vanity's Ruler, Vanity's Emptiness, whatever that is. No. Giant Trunade. This is one of the most breakable cards of all time. Speaking of, Heavy Storm. Now, here's the thing. I know some people will say, oh, Heavy Storm can come back to 3. It's fine. Or it can go back to 1. It's fine. Look at Master Duel. Look at the OCG. It's back at 1 in the OCG. Look at, it's back at 1 in Master Duel. The thing is, I don't think it's very fun when all of your spell traps are just removed for free. That's it. I just don't think that's very fun. I don't like Harpy's Feather Duster. I don't like Heavy Storm. I don't like Lightning Storm. I don't like Raigeki. I just don't think they're fun design. And sure, oh, you could have it back at 1. Because it's balanced. I don't care about balance. I care about fun. Yeah, the card's fine, technically speaking. But it's not exactly fun. What if I wanted to, like, set a trap card? And now I have to waste my trap activation on a card that says, no, you don't get traps? That defeats the purpose of the risk-reward of trap cards. Oh, I set a powerful trap card because the risk is that I have to wait a turn. And then this comes along and just invalidates that. I don't know. It's kind of boring. Mass Driver, no. Ban it. Keep it banned. FTK. Mirage of Nightmare could go to 3 and would do probably nothing. Even with the MST archetype that exists to pop this card to get and keep the advantage, I still don't think it matters mostly due to the fact that, actually, sorry, it could go to 1. I don't think it could go to 3. Mostly due to the fact that this card is, 1, unsearchable. Technically, you could draw into it. There's a bunch of ways to draw into it, right? But 2, you only go up to 4. So, sure, you could potentially draw into additional hand traps, but you'd still have to discard them during the next standby phase. So maybe, but then again, maybe not. I don't know. I feel like this card, we've seen what it does in Genesis, and it's a big fat nothing. And like Radiant Typhoon was one of the best decks in that game. This costs 0 points, or something very low. I don't think it costs a lot. And Radiant Typhoon cut it. They just stopped playing it. It was too slow. I don't think it's very good. Theoretically, it could be breakable, which is why I'm putting it at 1. But I do think that it's one of those cards that's just like, what is it gonna do? Stare at you? Mystic Mind, Floodgate. This is just to get draws. This is one of the most insane advantage engines of all time. Don't look at my hand. 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 This is for Infinite. This is a Floodgate, one of the best draw spells of all time. Why did this card ever get printed? Agito, Kelbeck, Baron. Why is this card not banned in Master Duel? Speaking of which, Isold can also remain banned. Here's the thing. Isold probably could be unbanned, again, in terms of balance, and not really change anything in terms of the general landscape of the TCG, especially moving forward. But do we want it to be unbanned? Do we want more FTK enablers? As much as I love Infernoble, and am a big fan of the way that Infernoble plays, Isold has mostly, throughout its history, been used for jank, and not fun jank. Most of the time it is for FTKs, and no one likes FTKs, so not even the people playing the FTKs most of the time. Borreload, no, just, yeah, we don't need more generic negation. In fact, we don't need more negation, period. Negation's kind of lame. Summon Limit, no. Beatrice, no. Apo, no. King Calamity could totally go back to 3 if you ban Crimson. I'm not joking. This card does not exist without Crimson Dragon. If you ban Crimson, Calamity, poof, gone. Doesn't exist anymore. Just ban Crimson. I hate that card. Why is Gimme... Okay, to be fair, I actually don't think that this card is a problem. The problem is Albion, the Sanctifier Dragon. You know, the card they refuse to ban for some reason. And instead have banned like 10 other cards instead of it. Fun. OSS could go to 3. Straight up. Would do nothing. Would do zip, zilch, nada. Even with multiple copies of Ash and Poplar. I don't think it matters. I really don't. Almost every deck nowadays does the same thing that Snake Eyes does. However, oftentimes, they also have the ability to do something additional. Right? For example, Cool Tune has the ability to play 10 million hand traps and use said hand traps as extension. Right? Whereas Snake Eye can't really do that. K9 has the ability to do all of that and also punish you for hand trapping them. I guess technically speaking, Snake Eye could do that with like Hita on Ash to like go into Promethean and kind of go from there, but it wasn't really much of a punish as much as it was like a pivot. So there's that. Yummy can literally get half of its board back if you interact with it. So for the most part, I feel like the Snake Eyes stuff just doesn't really do much. And especially with the banning of Apo and Baron and Borreload, not giving Snake Eye the ability to just end on a whole bunch of negates, I think Snake Eye is fine, right? They were strong, but I don't think they were by any means the most powerful. Griffin can remain banned. Suck my balls. Okay, I actually really am a big fan of Dweller. This is just straight up me coping. I understand it's Floodgate. I don't care. I like it. I think it's a good Floodgate. Even as much of a fan of like Tyr and Draco Tail and other such decks as I am, this card's fine. Bring him back. He's a-okay. I like him. He's cool. Anyway, that's all. Deco Talker, Rotten Hell. Bahamut can still be banned. If we're not going to ban Toad, we can keep that card banned. This is one of the most lamest cards of all time. Feral Imp. Honestly, Feral Imp could also go back to 3. Just ban Habakiri. Like, Habakiri clearly is the issue. We just refuse to ban it. So, until that happens, yeah, Feral Imp needs to be banned. Yeah, let's keep banning more Cyber Enablers because, dude, Splash Mage. Imagine Splash Mage for other archetypes. Like, just a generic guy that reborns. Like, that's Elf with no restriction, basically. It's basically Elf, right? The only difference is that Splash Mage is for Cybers, which I hate, and Elf is not. That's it. I guess the other notable thing is that Elf specifically can't be used as link material, whereas Splash Mage can, which is a massive difference, right? Not being able to use a card that reborns cards for link material matters substantially, at least for that turn, right? So there's that. Moon. Moon could technically come back. I don't really care. It should just remain banned. Protoss. No, not allowed. Ouroboros. No, stop looking at my hand. Stop stealing cards from my hand. Dimensional Barrier. Should be banned everywhere. This is also just another Floodgate. This is also another Floodgate. This is basically a Floodgate. This is a Floodgate. What am I talking about? No. Do you want to play against more Malice? I'm not saying, do you want to play more Malice? I'm saying, do you want to play against more Malice? Have you ever had a fun game against Malice? I feel like Malice sucks balls to play against. I don't mind playing Malice. In fact, I enjoy playing Malice. Malice is a fun deck to play. That being said, it's not a fun deck to play against. And I recognize that. Herald just got banned. Same thing with Rose Whip. To be fair, I don't think Rose Whip is that big of a deal. Like, I really don't care about this card. But Sky Striker players exist, so Konami can't allow that card to exist alongside it. Here's Noir. Actually, Noir is fine. But we'll keep it banned for now. Same thing with the new Gimmick Puppet. I'm not going to change too much with the new ban list. For the most part, though, a lot of these are like trap cards. A lot of these are just like stupid trap cards that are banned for some reason. And then just outdated cards at this point, right? Like things from older archetypes and older top tier strategies that are no longer top tier, right? Meowmew, Smorph, Spiral Master Plan, right? Stuff of that nature. That's it. That's pretty much it. Again, most of the current cards that exist on the ban list, especially in the TCG, are there for a reason, right? And are there to make the game more fun. And quite frankly, the TCG is way more fun. That being said, well, I would say the TCG is more fun. It's a better format. It's not more fun. Beside the point. That being said, I do think that there are some cards that come off, especially things like Electromite, like Eclipse Wyvern, the super heavy Samurai guy, Samorph, Mew. Truly cards that are limited for some reason. Hell if I know. Anyway, also the semi-limited list is a fucking joke. You think I'm gonna put a card at 2? Unless it's Mally, I'm not gonna put a card to 2. There's not really a reason to put any card to 2. I don't know, the semi-limited list exists. Aren't there a whole bunch of cards there right now? I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Unless it is like hitting an archetype by hitting a whole bunch of names to lower their consistency, and so you put them all to 2, like they did with Ryziel and Malice. I think that's fine, but pretty much every other instance of it, it's not a good idea. It's pretty bad. So there you go. There are my thoughts. Let me know if you guys agree, disagree, what your overall thoughts are on the ban list. Actually, don't tell me your overall thoughts on the ban list. Just tell me your thoughts on the banned cards within the TCG, because I don't care about your thoughts on the ban list. Cool. Well, I'm going to call it quits there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.